So welcome to another segment of my mathematics videos, and this time I want to show you how you can find the standard deviation. So I want to show you how you can find the standard deviation, usually given that symbol there. So it says the table below shows the expenditure of 90 farmers in a particular farming season. So you can see the amount between 0 and 100, between 100 and 200, 200 and 300, up to 800 there. So the number of farmers between 0 and 100 you have actually been given. So this is what we call as being, grouped data, because the data has already been arranged for you. Now the question there says calculate, the standard deviation. Now I want you to understand this is representing the amount. So you construct a table. So there are two methods. I'm going to show you two methods. In the first video, I'm going to use one formula that you can apply, and in the next video, I'm also going to use another formula that you can apply. So we can say in the first column, so you can make up, in this case, the first column there, you can put up amount. So we can put up amount, that is in kwacha. Then in the second amount, so the amount in this case we have from 0 is less than x and less or equal to 100. Then 100 is less than x and x is less or equal to 200. Then 200 is less than x and less or equal to 300. And 300 is less than x and less or equal to 400. And 400 is less than x and x is less or equal to 500. Then 500 is less than x and less or equal to 600. Then 600 is less than x and less or equal to 700. And 700 is less than x and less or equal to 800. So these you don't have to worry, you just pick up that which you have actually been given. My table runs all the way up to here, if you are able to see that. Then the next column should have what we call the mid amount. So for this amount, whatever you're going to have here, you need to look for the mid amount or the mid value. And that mid value, I'll call it as being the mid value just to help you. So it's the mid value. It's half of the range that you have been given, and that is what we are going to call as being our x. So that is the mid value that we are going to have in there. You can just call it as being x. Now the mid value tells you what is the number between 0 and 100. Of course, if you're not so sure, add 0 plus 100 divided by 2, that is a 50. And then what's the number between 100 and 200? So if you're not so sure, you can simply add the 100 plus the 200. Then the answer you get, you divide it by 2. So that's the way we get. So it's 150. I'm sure you're able to see that. Then between 200 and 300, that's a 250. Between 300 and 400, that's a 350. Between 400 and 500, that's a 450. And between 500 and 600, that is a 550. And between 600 and 700, that would be a 650. Then 700 and 800, that is a 750. So that is what we mean. Now in the next column there, you are going to put up the frequency. And the frequency is the one that you're going to have the number of farmers. So those between 0 and 100 were 5. So that is the frequency. So let me just use a different marker. So the frequency, you just copy 5. For that one, it is 16, 17. That is again 17. Between 400 and 500, that's a 14. Between 500 and 600, that's a 12. Between 600 and 700, that's a 7. And between 700 and 800, that is a 2. So that is what you put up in the third column there. Now the next thing that you're going to do is that you can simply get the product of f and x. So in here we are going to have the product. So what is the product? So you multiply your frequency multiplied by the mid value there. So that is what you are going to get. In the next one, you are going to get the value of x, but you raise it to the power 2. Then in the last one, we are going to have the frequency multiplied by the mid value raised to the power 2. So it will be f x squared. So we are just multiplying the frequency times this value that we are going to get there. That will give us the last value. So this is method 1 that I'm talking about. So you can just need to use a calculator. So let's try to go with a calculator there so that you are able to see. I hope my blue marker is actually something that is actually, you know, helping you, and you are able to see as we go about it. So what I'm going to do is that I just need to multiply. Hopefully you're able to follow me. So it is simply, you know, 50 times 5. So that would be 50 times 5. That is going to give me a 250 there. So that would be a 250. Yeah. Then the next value is simply 150 multiplied by 16. Multiplied by 16. That is going to give me a 2,400. Then I go to the next one, 250 multiplied by 17. So that will give you a 4,250. Then that will be a 350 multiplied by 17. That is going to give me a 5,950. Then I go to 450 multiplied by 14. So that will give me a 6,300. Then you go to 550 times 12 there. That is going to give you a 6,600. Then I go to a 650 multiplied by 7. That is going to give me a 4,550. Then the last one, 750 multiplied by 2. So that is going to give me a 1,500. All right. So now how do you get the value x to the power 2? So meaning you get these mid values and you square them. So for example, I mean 50 raised to the power 2 on your calculator. So that is going to give me a 2,500. Then I go to this one, 150 raised to the power 2. That is going to give me a 22,500. Then 250 raised to the power 2. That will give me 62,500. Then the next one will be a 350 raised to the power 2. That is going to give me a 122,000, 500. Then 450 raised to the power 2. That is going to give me, 202,500. Then you are going to have 550, raised to the power 2. 550 raised to the power 2 is going to give me 302,500. Right? Then we move on to 650 raised to the power 2. So that is going to give me 422,500. Then we are going to have 750 again raised to the power 2. That is going to give us 562,500. So that is what we need. So right away, if you wanted, instead of wasting time doing this, the moment you square this one, you could have been multiplying it by 5. So the moment you squared this one, you could have actually been multiplying so that you also get the value. So because you want to be as quick as possible in the exam, you don't want to waste time. So it is 200. So the moment I did to get this value, remember I said 50 raised to the power 2, the answer I got 2,500. I would have just been multiplied it by these ones in black. That is multiplied by 5, and that would have given me, a 12,500. Again, this value that I wanted to get there, I would have just said 150 squared, which we got 22. So this multiplied by that, so multiplied by 16, that is going to give us, the 360,000. Okay, so the idea is this times that, so that is 62,500 multiplied by 17, which is going to give you a 106. 2500. So that is what it is going to give you. So that's 1,620,000. Okay, so that is okay. Let's try just to. Okay, so that's 1,062,500. All right. So that is what we're having there. So again, please, like I said, instead of you wasting time, the moment you said 350, 350 squared, and you got this value, you could have just multiplied it directly by 17, so that you get the last value. In the exam, you don't want to be wasting a lot of time. So 450 squared, the answer that we got was this one. So you multiply it right away by 14, so that you get what is in the last column. So you don't want to waste time in the exam. Again, here we had for us to get this value, it was 550 multiplied by raised to the power 2, and we got this value. So this value times what? Times 12. So that gives you what is in the last column there, 300. And okay, so that is 4 zeros. So that is 3,063,630,000. Let's go to the other one. So these are bigger values. So again, the value that we got there, which is that multiplied by 7. So that would have given me 2957500. All right. So then the last one, we got when we squared the 750, we got that value. So multiply that by 2. So that is giving us 11,250,000. So this is what you get now. Now, what do you do from this stage once you have those values? Well, it's very simple. What you need to do, you need to find the summation of the frequency. So we are going to find the summation of the frequency. So you add all these. Now, because they told us that the table shows the expenditure of 90 farmers. Yeah, so meaning when I add all this, that is equal to 90. The next thing that you're going to do for this value here, you again need to get the summation of fx, the product of the frequency and the mid value. So what is the the summation? So you add all this. So 250 plus 2,400 plus 4,250 plus 5,950 plus 6,300 there, plus 4,550 plus 1,500. So it is giving me in this case the value that it is giving me. Let me just try to to go back again and recheck my work that I've done. We can just go through 250. So that is 250 plus 2,400 plus 4,550, which is there, plus 5,950 plus 63, 100, then plus 6,600 plus 4,550 plus 1,500. All right, so we are getting a 31,800. So this is what I get. Again, the last thing that you need to know is to find the sum. So this sigma is the symbol for sigma. It means sum. So it is the sum of fx squared. So we want to add all that. So let's try to see. 12,500 plus 360,123 plus 106,2500 plus I come to this one 208, that is 2500 plus I come to this one, it is 283 500 plus I come to this one 363,1234 plus 295,7500 plus the last one is 112, that is 5123. So this is what we're having. So if you add all that, it is giving us so that value that we are getting there is simply 123. So that is 14 million 614 that is 14 million 600, yes, that is 14 million 6,500. All right, so that is what we are having there. So basically the idea there, let's try to look at that, not what we said. So that is 14,065,000. So that's the value that we are getting. So that is 14,065,000. All right, so that's the correct value that we are getting. So now once you do that with a table, what next you need to do? Well, what is important, first of all, you are going to find the mean in this case. So how do you get the mean? So let's keep these values that we do have, because we need these values, remember, in just a short while. So we are going to get the mean. So how do you get the mean? So the mean is represented by the average. It is the sum of fx divided by the sum of the frequency. That is what we are going to do. So if you notice that 1,800, so that is, we got a 31,800 divided by the frequency, which was 90. So what is the mean that we are getting? So if you use your calculator, 31,800 divided by 90, that is going to a whole number, to three significant figures. I'm getting 353.333 recurring, but to three significant, 1, 2, 3. You look at the number in front, it is actually less than 5, so it is just going to be 353. So this is the mean. Now to find the standard deviation, the formula that you apply to find the standard deviation, so the SD, for you to find the standard deviation, we simply apply the formula. It is simply the summation of fx squared divided by the summation of the frequency, then minus the deviation from the mean, raised to the power 2. Whatever you get, you find the square root. So this formula is always given in the second page of your mathematics paper 2 in the ECZ exam. So we can just substitute. So the standard deviation is going to be, so what is this value, the sum of? So you just get what we got. Remember we said it was actually 14 million, we said 14,065,000. That is what we got. So we are going to get 14 million 65,000 divide by the sum of the frequency, which was a 90 that we had, minus the mean that we got is a 353, but this whole thing raised to the power 2. Remember, whatever we get, we need to come and find the square root of that. So the standard deviation, so you can divide. The first thing that you can do, you can actually divide. So get that value that you have there, 14,065,000. Then you simply divide that by 90. So when we divide it by 90, what are we getting there? So the value that I'm getting there, just to show you, I'm getting 156,000 200, and I'll round it off to a whole number, so that is going to be 8. So 156,278 minus, so we can raise that one, 353 raised to the power 2. I'm simply getting 124,609. Then whatever we have, remember, we need to find the square root. So the standard deviation there is going to be, we can actually get to subtract that, so it is going to be 156,278 minus this value, 124,609. So what is that giving me? So if you are doing it, it is giving me 31,669. Then from there now you can find the square root. So what is the square root? So let's look at the square root of that value that we have there. The value is giving me 177.957, but to three significant figures, 1, 2, 3. So look at the number in front, it is more than 5, so it is going to give us 178. So this is the standard deviation. So that is the way you can go about it. So this is method 1 that I'm going to to show you, or how you can actually get to use it. So remember again, what you need to do when they give you a range, the class interval, find the mid value for the class interval, if you are not so sure, add the first number plus the last number. The answer you get divide by 2 to help you to find that. The next column, the frequency. Then the next one, it's the frequency times the mid value. That's what you get. Then there, you are simply getting the mid value, you square it. Then what do you get in the last column? It is simply, the mid value squared times the frequency. That gives you the last one. And remember, that is the way you can go about it. Thank you for watching. Watch out for my other videos. I show you other methods of going about this.